When you're in pain, the hardest thing to believe is that healing is possible. Your mind tells you that the wound is too deep, the betrayal too sharp, the loss too heavy. You replay moments in your head like an endless movie you never wanted to see. But healing isn't about pretending the pain never happened. It's about finding a way to live fully, even with the scars. Sometimes we think we must be completely over it to move on. The truth is, we can begin to heal even while we're still hurting. Healing is not a switch. It's a slow sunrise. It takes patience, presence, and practice. The first step is to stop running away from your feelings. Pain that is buried alive never dies. It just waits for moments to resurface. Instead of numbing yourself with distractions, give your pain a voice, sit with it, listen to it, ask it what it's trying to teach you. Often, what hurts the most is what carries the most wisdom. The second step is to release the need for instant answers. Sometimes we want closure so badly we force it, but rushing the process only deepens the wound. Allow the unanswered questions to exist. Trust that clarity will arrive when you're ready, not when you're desperate for it. Third, create small moments of safety and joy, even in the middle of the storm. Healing doesn't only happen in therapy sessions or deep conversations. It happens when you allow yourself to laugh, to enjoy your favorite tea, to watch the sunset. These little acts are like stitching pieces of your heart back together. Fourth, forgive, not because what happened was okay, but because you deserve peace. Forgiveness is not a gift for the one who hurt you. It's freedom for yourself. Carrying resentment is like holding onto burning coals, hoping it will hurt the other person. In the end, it only burns you. When we are hurting, our first instinct is often to escape. We bury ourselves in work, scroll endlessly on our phones, distract ourselves with noise, or keep ourselves busy so we don't have to feel what's inside. It's human nature to avoid discomfort. We've been conditioned to believe that pain is something to be erased, not embraced. But here's the truth. Pain that you ignore doesn't disappear. It waits quietly, hiding beneath the surface, and then shows up unexpectedly. In your relationships, in your moods, in the way you see yourself. You can't outrun what's inside you. Facing your feelings is one of the bravest things you will ever do. It's not about wallowing in sadness or replaying the hurt endlessly. It's about allowing yourself to acknowledge, yes, this happened. Yes, it hurt me, and yes, I'm allowed to feel this. So often, we silence our own emotions because we think they make us weak. We tell ourselves to be strong, to move on, to just get over it. But strength is not found in suppressing your emotions. It's found in allowing yourself to feel them without being destroyed by them. When you sit with your pain, it can be uncomfortable, even overwhelming at first. You might cry, you might feel anger, you might even feel nothing at all. That's okay. The point is not to judge the feeling, but to observe it. Ask yourself, what is my pain trying to tell me? Sometimes it's showing you a boundary that was crossed. Sometimes it's revealing a truth you've been avoiding. Sometimes it's simply asking you to slow down and care for yourself. One of the most powerful things you can do is give your pain a safe space to exist. Right about it. Talk to someone you trust, or sit in silence and just breathe through it. The more you acknowledge your emotions, the less power they have to control you. They stop being this dark, undefined shadow following you everywhere and start becoming something you can actually understand and work through. The journey of healing begins when you stop pretending you're okay and start allowing yourself to be human. Your feelings are not the enemy, they are messengers. And when you choose to face them, rather than run from them, you give yourself the chance to truly heal. Not by erasing the pain, but by learning to live and grow through it. When something breaks inside us, we want answers right away. We want to know why it happened, how it happened, and what we could have done differently. We crave closure as if it's a key that will lock away our pain for good. But life doesn't always hand us neat explanations. Sometimes there are no clear reasons, no perfect words, no exact moment that makes everything make sense. And that's one of the hardest truths to accept, that you can start healing without having all the answers. The need for instant clarity comes from a place of wanting control. Pain makes us feel powerless, and answers seem like they would restore that power, but rushing to find meaning can lead to forcing false conclusions just to quiet the discomfort. You might tell yourself stories that aren't even true, just so the uncertainty doesn't eat away at you. The problem is, when we rush the process, we often create more confusion than clarity. Healing requires patience with the unknown. It means allowing unanswered questions to simply be for a while. It means trusting that understanding will come, not on your timeline, but on the timeline that your heart is ready for. Sometimes the lesson reveals itself years later, when you've grown enough to see the situation from a higher place. Think of it like planting a seed. You can't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You have to trust that in the unseen, something is happening. Your healing works the same way. Even if you don't see progress right away, it's still unfolding beneath the surface. This patience isn't passive, it's active faith. It's waking up each day and choosing not to force an answer, but to live in the question. It's allowing yourself to rest in the space between what happened and what you will one day understand. And in that space, you can begin to focus on the small steps you can take. Caring for your mind, nurturing your body, surrounding yourself with people who uplift you. One day, without warning, you might find yourself looking back and realizing you finally understand. The pieces fall into place, the pain makes a little more sense, and you see how it shaped you in ways you never expected. Until that day comes, the greatest gift you can give yourself is the permission to not know, and the courage to keep living anyway. When you're in the middle of pain, joy can feel like a foreign language, something you can't understand or even imagine speaking again. You might think you have to wait until you're completely healed before you can feel happiness, as if joy is the final reward at the end of the journey. But the truth is, joy is not something you stumble upon when the pain is gone. It's something you can nurture while you're still hurting, and in doing so, you help your healing move forward. Small moments of safety and joy are like gentle stitches for a wounded heart. They don't erase the hurt, but they help you hold yourself together. This could be as simple as making yourself a warm cup of tea in the morning, listening to music that soothes your spirit, or spending a few minutes in nature, feeling the air against your skin. These aren't grand, life-changing events. They're quiet reminders that life still has softness, even in the middle of the storm. When we are hurting, our focus often narrows to only what's broken. It's like staring at a cracked window and forgetting there's a whole world outside it. By creating moments of joy, you're not ignoring the pain. You're widening your view to see that beauty and pain can exist side by side. You can cry in the morning and still laugh at something in the afternoon. You can carry grief in your heart and still notice how beautiful the sky looks at sunset. Some days, these moments may feel small or insignificant. You might even feel guilty for enjoying anything when you're still hurting. But those tiny acts are not betrayal to your pain. They are acts of survival. They remind you that you are more than what happened to you. The more you allow these moments into your day, the more they begin to add up. Slowly, the heaviness doesn't feel as suffocating. Slowly, your body remembers what it feels like to relax, even for a short while. Slowly, your mind starts to believe that joy is still possible. Healing is not just about working through the pain, it's also about making room for light. And sometimes it's the smallest, simplest moments that hold the power to keep you going until the day you feel whole again. Forgiveness is one of the most misunderstood parts of healing. Many people think forgiving means saying what happened was okay, or that it no longer matters. But forgiveness isn't about erasing the hurt or pretending the wound never existed. It's about setting yourself free from the emotional chains that keep you tied to the pain. When you hold on to resentment, you carry the very thing you wish would leave you. You replay the words, the actions, the moments over and over, hoping that somehow the past will change. But it doesn't, and in the process, you end up hurting yourself far more than the person who caused the pain. Holding on to anger feels powerful at first. It gives you a sense of control, but over time that anger turns into weight, heavy and exhausting to carry. It seeps into your relationships, clouds your judgment, and keeps you stuck in the story of what happened. Forgiveness, on the other hand, is like putting down that weight. It's deciding that you deserve peace more than you deserve to keep score. It's important to remember that forgiveness is not a one-time event. It's a process. Sometimes you forgive in your mind long before your heart catches up. Some days you'll feel like you've let it go, and then something will trigger the memory and the hurt will rush back. That's normal. Forgiveness is a choice you may have to make over and over until it finally becomes part of you. You don't have to tell the person you forgive them. You don't even have to have them in your life again. Forgiveness is an internal act. It's for you, not for them. It's the moment you decide that your future matters more than holding onto your past. And here's the thing, when you forgive, you're not saying that the pain didn't matter. You're saying it mattered so much that you refuse to let it define you forever. You refuse to let it be the only story you carry. You choose to move forward, lighter and freer. In the end, forgiveness isn't about the other person winning. It's about you reclaiming your own heart. Because the moment you truly forgive, you're no longer tied to what broke you. You're tied to what's building you. Healing is rarely a straight road. We like to imagine it as a smooth path where each day feels a little lighter than the last. But in reality, it's more like a winding journey, full of ups, downs, and unexpected turns. There will be days when you feel hopeful and alive, certain that you've moved past the pain, and then, without warning, something small, a song, a place, a memory, pulls you right back into the heaviness. In those moments, it's easy to believe you've failed, that all your progress has been undone, but that's not the truth. Healing is not linear because emotions are not linear. You are not a machine that can process pain on a fixed schedule. You are a human being with layers, memories, and a heart that beats differently every day. Some days your heart will feel open, ready to embrace the future. Other days it will feel guarded, needing space and rest. Both are part of the process. When you understand this, you stop judging yourself for the setbacks. You stop asking, "Why am I still feeling this?" And instead start saying, "This is just part of healing." You realize that the bad days are not a sign of weakness. They're a sign that you're still human, still feeling, still working through it. Think of healing like the tide. The water comes in and goes out. Some days the waves crash hard, and other days they're calm and gentle. But even when the waves are rough, the ocean is still moving forward. Your healing works the same way. Even when you feel like you're back at the beginning, you're still further along than you were before. This is why patience and self-compassion are so important. You cannot rush yourself into wholeness, and you cannot shame yourself into progress. You can only keep showing up on the good days and the hard ones. You can only keep choosing to take one step forward, even if some days you take 2 steps back. Over time, you'll notice that the heavy days become less frequent. The pain still visits, but it doesn't stay as long. And slowly, you'll realize that healing isn't about never feeling the hurt again. It's about learning that even when it comes, you now have the strength to keep going. That's when you know you're truly moving forward. Healing, while you're still hurting, is not about waiting for the perfect moment when all the pain disappears. It's about learning to live fully in the middle of it. It's facing your feelings instead of running from them, trusting the process even when you don't have all the answers, creating small spaces of joy that remind you life is still worth living, forgiving so your heart can be free, and accepting that progress will have its highs and lows. You may not notice the change day by day, but every time you choose to keep going, you are quietly becoming stronger. One day, you'll look back and realize that the pain that once felt like it would break you has instead shaped you into someone wiser, softer, and more resilient. And that will be the proof that even in your deepest hurt, you were already on your way to healing.